One of the main things that I see people dealing with and really struggling with in a lot of ways is the idea of prosperity. And so I want to talk about the nature of prosperity and reciprocal altruism, essentially. When we're trying to create something in our life, a business, we're endeavoring on entrepreneurialism and true entrepreneurialism, paving a new way in the world and really establishing ourselves as an authority in the world. An authority being an educator, being a role model, being a guidepost for other people to follow in whatever niche that you may be working with. Most people watching this video are going to be focused on health, nutrition, lifestyle transformation. It might even go into psychology or personal development or even helping other people with their entrepreneurial endeavors. Doesn't really matter. These principles are pretty universal in the greater landscape of this conversation. And one of the main things that we all need to start attuning to is the frequency of prosperity. What is the nature of prosperity anyways? It's something, it's a, you know, if we were going to go a little more esoteric in this, it's a force or it's a frequency, it's a point of frequency essentially that is an elevated state of conscious awareness, meaning that it's recognizing that there is abundance in and around us at every given time, any given moment in time. There's always options available to us on how to create more abundance, how to create a stream of abundance to flow to us. And what we have to do is understand the different patterning that we're operating under and how we've gotten in our own way. Now, there's a lot to unpack there. So let's take this perspective, is that each and every day we want to tune into the frequency of prosperity. We want to start to understand the nature of prosperity and how we can get our behavior in alignment with that nature. How we can actually get our human nature into alignment with the fundamental nature of prosperity in the universe. And there's so many different modalities for that. One of the ways that I've experienced that is actually getting integrated into the fabric of nature. Right? Nature, the natural environment, actually putting my feet on the ground, going to the tropics like my home here in Hawaii, going to different areas outside of my comfortable circumstances, outside of, say, an apartment in downtown Los Angeles or Hollywood. You get a different experiential reference for abundance, for the frequency of prosperity, depending on the environment that you are integrated into. That's why taking vacations is such a powerful thing. That's why going on raw food, cleansing, yoga, international retreats is such a powerful, transformative experience, because it's not just about the surface level benefits of cleaning out your body. Obviously, that's a humongous thing, but it's also about getting a new reference for your reality, about getting a new elevated state of consciousness from which you can create the new tapestry of what your life is becoming. And to me, understanding all the options on the menu board of the universe is really where we start to tune into the nature of prosperity. One of the things that I find a lot of people have a strong difficulty with when they're creating a coaching career, say, or they're creating some kind of conscious entrepreneurship, is that they want to give. They want to give all the time. And we have to practice reciprocal altruism, where it's altruistic to give and to contribute and to be a beneficial contributor on this planet. But it's also it's very important to understand that we don't want to be depleting our reserves. We don't want to be wiping ourselves out because there's only so much that we can give until we have to refuel the bank account, so to speak. And so you want to be reciprocal in your ability to give and receive. And a lot of people have a hard time receiving all the grace and all the magic and abundance that literally wants to flow in like a raging river into our lives. And the only thing that's damning us from that, that's barricading us from that abundance, is ourselves. In understanding the patterns that we're playing out every day that's barricading us from that abundance. And a lot of times it's simply just switching the dial in our mind from always having to give all the time, which a lot of times I find is actually coming from a place of insecurity. It's coming from a place of feeling like they're not good enough, so they always have to give because otherwise people won't like them, they won't subscribe to their YouTube channel or their mailing list, or they won't get enough likes on Facebook, or they won't purchase their product or whatever. And so you have to understand that there's an interior decorating process that has to happen where you start to affirm yourself. You start to validate yourself. You have to know what your value is first and foremost, and then you have to know what you require in order to refuel the storage tanks in order to be able to share and to be able to give. And then also, as an entrepreneur, how to give in a more sustainable and a more creative space. Because it's not just about like, oh, my new book comes out and then I'm just going to give away copies and then, you know, the abundance will come to me at the perfect time. That's a little naive. That's not really thinking things strategically, and that's not really being of that much service, because you want to set up an exchange between you and that other person or multitudes of people. One of the things I think is super valuable to understand about this process is that you have to give other people the opportunity to meet you halfway. Because if you're just that person on the mountaintop just throwing gifts off to people, you're not giving people the opportunity to grow into the gifts that you have to share with them. What I mean by that is people actually have to step up and be able to provide something energetically in exchange for the service that you're providing them. That's how you keep the feedback loop in the affinity cycle. Otherwise, there's going to be a break in that link, and either you're going to burn out or you're going to develop resentment because these other people that you're giving your service or your gift to, they're not in a position of appreciation. And a lot of times people then ask for your gifts, so it creates unrealistic expectations when you perform it haphazardly, when you do it without discipline, focus, and intelligent strategy. So you want to set up a strategy for yourself on how you can give your gifts. A great way to do that is to set up an email list and an email autoresponder like I have. And then when people subscribe to your email list, you can start sending them autoresponder education. Like I have, every time someone signs up for my email list, they get every 3 days, they get a video from me that I had set up prior to them signing up. And now they get their own free education from me, whatever I want to provide to them. And then there's also links to my Holistic Health Mastery Program. There's links to my books. There's links to certain products that I'm affiliated with that I'm promoting and sharing. There's different opportunities to invite people into that exchange of prosperity if they choose to be a part of it. And in the same token, I'm able to give people what I have to give to them without feeling like I'm burning myself out, because I did the work one time. I repurposed old material in a way that is able to be beneficial to new people that are following my work. You see, that's just one example. And the nature of prosperity is seeing all the chess pieces on the chessboard and seeing how you can move one thing at a time in the direction of all the abundance that you want to create for yourself and you want to express out into the world.